Lookout. Here's trouble. G'day, legends. Time for a bit of Jim Does SuperCoach. NBA Supercoach. Week 21 wrap. Week 22 preview. Quick one today. I've got two squids to look after. Old mate's a bit sick, so I'm just going to quickly hit on some pods, my trades for this week, all that sort of stuff. See how we went, etc. So let's just start there. How did you go this week, Jim? A lot better than last week, I'll tell you that much. 1306 I scored, 1,306 up to 957 last week. Cost me a million places, dropped me all the way down to 765 overall. I'm back up to 690 overall. Nice, kind of. So it's up 75 spots. I think I ranked 832nd overall this week, which is kind of neat. So the season rank, 690. So that's a lot better. So after last week's disaster, we sort of got it right, point in the right direction. LP Şengün played the game of his life. JOKIC was the best C possibility we had going with 186. Not bad. SGA came good in the end. Jamal Murray was a good pick in the end, 139. I was a little bit worried early on because I ended up with the Jam and Jamal Murray combo, moving Maxey Reynaud onto my court, hoping for a little bit more than 71, but that was fine. Dennis Jenkins had, I think, 87 or whatever. So I missed out on a few points here or there. Kawhi had over 100, but KD had 117. The Jalen Johnson missed game at the start of the week really, really hurt because I would have switched in Kawhi there, would have had Dennis Jenkins, but I think we kind of just middled it. Just. So, what do we do this week? What are we looking at? Well, Week 22, we've only got 2 weeks left, right? So this week, basically everybody and their dog plays 4 times in the final week of the season. But the thing we need to keep an eye on right now, Ant-Man is reportedly coming back from his knee injury tomorrow. Do we dare roll with the Ant-Man? I don't know. I don't really like coming back from like a knee injury. He's got to play all 8 games though if he wants to make all NBA with the 65 games played rule. Will he dare try to play all of those games for at least 20 minutes? Maybe. I don't know so much about it, but it's a bit of a worrisome one. Cade's still out. Steph is out for at least another week. We do know that Luka is going to miss a game. He's suspended after picking up his 16th tech of the season. If that gets rescinded before the game tomorrow, that'd be hilarious. He's on my team. I'm not going to trade him out because we've got more pressing worries. But otherwise, I think what we're looking at the moment essentially is pods. We've got 2 weeks left, right? It's all or nothing from here on out. So go for some pods. And obviously, who's playing 4 games this week? So who are actual pod trade targets, I guess. So here are the teams playing 4 times this week in round 22. Boston. So Tatum is a very interesting pod. The thing is, I believe this might be the 1 week where your Boston Celtics actually still have a back-to-back, and I've got a feeling he won't be playing in a back-to-back. So they played today. So I'd expect Tatum to not play tomorrow against the Hawks in Atlanta on a back-to-back. That's why they set out Jaylen Brown and Derek White, I think, today. So my feeling is Tatum would be a really, really good pod, but because of that one back-to-back, so he's probably only going to play the 3 games, it's a bit, how you go. Jaylen Brown's not a bad one. Derek White, if he's actually fit and healthy, not a bad pod there as well. Peyton Pritchard, if he's more around your price point, I don't know, but I think we've got some better guard options. Charlotte, LaMelo, perfect pod. Absolutely perfect pod for this last little run because you don't have to put up with his crazy inefficiency. He had a 7-26 shooting game the other day. But the thing is, he can also, and Charlotte are in the 10 seed right now. They're going to be going absolutely hammer and tongs. He had 78 points, Supercoach points last week. And I feel like he's only in 3.3% of teams. If you want to go hammer and tongs on a weird, strange pod at your point guard position, maybe in the flex, don't mind LaMelo as a little bit of a super duper strange pod play. I mean, look at his actual individual game scores this week at 12 and 12. It was brutal, but that's just because of really bad shooting. He now plays Brooklyn, Phoenix, Indy, and Minnesota this week. 2 decent teams, 2 rubbish teams. Keep that one upstairs, just saying. The rest of that Charlotte team, obviously Spindles, Miller, maybe, but otherwise. Chicago, Josh Giddey isn't much of a pod. Buzelis, he's had an awesome week. Maybe he's a good one. Cleveland. The pod is trying to figure out which one's going to go off. Harden or Donovan Mitchell. Dealer's choice, right? I feel like Harden tends to have like a slightly higher floor because of his rebounding numbers and the assist numbers, whereas Donnie Mitchell has the biggest scoring nights at the moment. So, I don't know. I'd probably go Harden, but here we are. Detroit, still no Cade. Dennis Jenkins is an interesting one, of course. If you got him in from last week, he's probably okay to play on court. Jalen Duren, absolutely carving it up. A lot of people will be bringing in him instead of Jokic this week, who's only got the 2 games. We'll get to that in a second. Duran's pretty good. Outside of that, not much there on Detroit. Houston's got 4 games this week. Love it. I've got Durant and Şengün. If you've got Amen Thompson, that's fine too. I think all 3 of them can put up pretty big numbers. Houston have to keep playing. They're in a dogfight in the seeding battle in the West. The Lakers. Reaves is your pod. Reaves is a fascinating pod because Luka misses the first game. Could Reaves just get into a bit of a groove for 4 games as they maybe just let LeBron chill a little bit? Luka takes that 1 game off. Reaves is probably the best interesting looking one there, especially his price point, around 14 mil. I've got Luka. I'm just going to keep Luka. Roll with him. 3 games of Luka is fine. Same with SGA. 3 games of SGA is also fine. I'm going to keep him in my team too. Milwaukee, KPJ, maybe. Memphis, too hard to predict any of their rookies or young dudes. Minnesota, that's obviously the Ant-Man play. Julius Randle might be the interesting pod. He just hasn't given us enough, has he? He's just been so inconsistent so far. It's really, really frustrating. Outside of that, I mean, Minnesota, it's like Randall had 27 points this week, right? Because they're basically just rubbish. Only played the 2 games. So here we are. But Randall, just keep an eye on him. I think they only played the 2 games, didn't they? That seems like it was a thing I mentioned last week. They only had the 21, so he went 17 and something like that. Orlando was the other big one. So, Bada Bancaro, I love him. He has been wildly inefficient and really, really frustrating at times. Other times, really efficient. And you're just like, where's the consistency, Paolo? You're killing me. And Desmond Bane, I was hoping for a little bit more from him over the last couple of weeks as well. It hasn't quite eventuated, right? He is, 97 for Paolo last week, 77 for Bane. Without Franz Wagner, they're just a little bit of a mess. Tristan Aravinda de Silva, though, 73. Not too bad there for the young fella. But Bane is an interesting pod, just for the simple fact, they've got some pretty tasty matchups this week, I think, from memory, Orlando. They play Phoenix, Atlanta, Dallas, and New Orleans. Not terrifying defensively, at least, 3 of those. So that's pretty good. Don't mind a bit of Bane there. Philly. Embiid's back. Paul George is back. Paul George is the ultimate pod. He didn't get injured. He was suspended for 25 games for, breaking the illicit drug, PED, performance enhancing, whatever, right? So he's fresh as a daisy. Embiid, as long as he's not playing back-to-backs, he's going to put up monster numbers, but I'm so back on board Tyrese Maxey. He's been my beloved Tyrese Maxey this entire NBA Supercoach run, so he's back into my team, I reckon, this week. Phoenix, you got Booker, you've got Jalen Green. You can't trust Green. Booker is an interesting one. He's still, in terms of like how many teams he's actually on, Booker's sort of fluctuated pretty dramatically throughout the season. He's on 8.2% of teams now. You look at Maxey, he's on 8.4. So interesting sort of pods there. Outside of that, that's Phoenix. San Antonio, Stephon Castle's been going off, but Wemby, I'm throwing the C on him this week. He's going hammer and tongs as well. Going to make a bit of a run at an MVP, you reckon? So I trust the big Frenchman. He's 7'40" and he's awesome. Toronto, everybody's jumped on Scottie Barnes. He's been dishing, he's been wishing, he's been gone fishing. I don't know. He's been Scottie ballin', not Scottie Barnes. Everybody's chasing that now, but he's been very consistent, at least as their playmaker. They've finally hit a nice little run of form there, Toronto. So he's your obvious one. Spindles Ingram, I can't really trust that. Utah, Washington, yeah, they're just rolls of the dice. So who are my trade targets this week? Because remember, in week 23, everybody and their dog is playing 4 games. So you don't really have to stress too much about who you're bringing, apart from, as I mentioned, the real 1 dice roll pod this week, LaMelo. Because every other team except Charlotte, New Orleans, Sacramento, and Utah, those 4 teams are the only teams in week 23 not playing 4 games, right? So LaMelo will be a 1 week, have a crack this week. Everybody else has got 4 games the following week. So if you've got 4 this week, you've probably got 4 the next. So it's pretty awesome. My favorite trade targets, I obviously love Maxey. If you don't have Luka, he's only got the 3 games this week, so it's a little bit janky. don't mind Reaves if you want to go a pod there. So I'm probably going to go Maxey, Scottie Barnes, and then I have to figure out the final spot. And I just don't know if I like it enough, right? Like, is it Jaylen Brown's week? Maybe. Is it James Harden's week? Possibly, because I've got to get one more, I think, shooting guard into the team, because out for me go JOKIC and Murray, because they've only got 2 games, Denver, this week. Of all the things, of all the timing, they've got 2 games. It's crazy. And I'll probably send Maxey Reynaud out as well, because I've got Benny Mathurin on, as my secondary shooting guard. If he's healthy, he can actually have these like spike games. And with 3 games, like, it's not a bad roll of the dice for us. Says Maxey Reynaud, who'll probably get to around that 20 mark. Mathurin has these spike games where he could actually just go whack and have a really, really big outing. So he had 25, 16, and 27 this week, right? If he gets around that again this week, it's a little bit of a disappointment. But if he goes like for 25, 24, 20, it's not a bad, like, oh, who's that other dude on my actual court? Whereas if I can get everybody else as a super duper primo, I feel good. So I feel like that SG1 shooting guard 1 is probably, and I don't like it, but James Harden. I think that's where he's in 4.1% of teams at the moment. Reaves might be the other one at 6.1% of teams. I just don't know if he's going to score enough to justify it. Whereas Harden, we all know what he can do. He's been really, really good. And I think that's where I'm going to go. So I think you look at Harden's last week, he's gone 20, well, he went 35, 38, 29, 29, 25, 32. He's hit a nice little run with Cleveland now. So I think I'm going to trust that form, get him into my team. And if you look who Cleveland are actually playing this week, they've got, I think, they start off with Utah, then they've got the Lakers. No one's stopping, like, defensively, the Lakers, come on. Golden State and Indy. So don't mind it for Harden. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Maxey comes in. I'll probably slap the C on Wemby. Fingers crossed Maxey plays all 4 games. But again, he hurt his thumb. It's not like a soft tissue injury. They might not have to rest him, that sort of stuff. And Scottie Barnes is probably the other one. Again, because he's coming into a lot of other teams, but he was massive this week. And I think that floor with all of these assist numbers, all the stocks, the blocks and the steals, it's really proving to be a massive sort of like points earner for him. So he just went 43 and 40 in his last 2 games, following up a 26, 27, 35, 26 run. So they played Detroit, Sacramento, Memphis, and Boston. So there's 2 very easy games in there. Love me some Scottie Barnes this week too. So there you go. That's it. Really quick one. As I mentioned, I've got to go look after some squids. So that's it. We'll be back on Thursday for the AFL Supercoach of Jim Does SuperCoach. Disaster this week in AFL. Jeez, just, whoa. It was all over Red Rover. But good news at least this week. So I'm pretty happy with that one. I just want to get into that top 600 again. So we need to make a couple of nice moves, put up some big scores. What do you reckon? Is that going to be enough? Maxey, Barnes, and Harden? Fingers crossed it is. So there you go. Remember, you can follow us across all the socials. Get around Footy Unfiltered, NBA Straya, and NFL Straya. Subscribe everywhere. I don't have to fight you, but I will. Rate, review, star, subscribe everywhere as well. Jump in the comments. Tell us how you're going. 1306, did you beat me this week? Let us know. So 2 more weeks left. NBA Supercoach has been super fun. Very frustrating at times with all these missed games and injuries and stuff as well. Sound off. Let me know what you reckon about it too. I've got notes. I've got some notes. And I've got people to tell about those notes as well. So anyway, that's it. This has been Jim Does SuperCoach. Here's to a big week 22 of NBA Supercoach. Happy Supercoaching.